Frank Lee, executive chef at slightly north of Broad in Charleston, exhibits a good old boy demeanor that belies a complicated culinary philosophy that almost approaches mysticism. He dips deeply into South Carolina local product with his appetizer, shiitake mushrooms stuffed with a chicken foie gras mousse.
What we're going to take is 12 ounces of chicken breast and 7 ounces of the foie gras to make it very rich. We're going to salt it, cut it into little pieces, salt it, puree it, add in our cream, and make the mousse. It's important that you first cut the chicken into little pieces so it'll grind up easy in the robo-coupe and not have any of the ligaments giving you any problems later. Now we put all this in, and we salt it before we grind it, and that's important because you have to the salt helps break down the tissues in the chicken and it makes the cream easier to hold. For this amount of chicken, we're going to use right at a teaspoon of salt, maybe just a touch more. Mix it up well. Put it in my wife's Culinary. We'll do about half at a time. I like to keep the chicken and the mousse on ice. But if it's hot in your kitchen, you don't want the mousse to get hot. And we'll just puree it a little bit at a time. We've got the mousse now chilling on the ice. For me, I've done it so often, I'll just put the cream right into the robo-coupe or the Cuisinart and pulse it down. But when you first start out, it's best to mix it in a little bit of time by hand, and you get a better feel for it. Put in about half my cream, and we'll slowly work it in. Kind of chop it in. This is where having added the salt in beforehand comes into play. It helps break down the tissues in the chicken and the foie gras and makes it easier to incorporate the cream.
The heavy cream is added in 2 steps.
We put this mousse into the mushroom caps because we want to feature our local mushroom growers' wonderful product, but it's also excellent in a little tart. You do a pastry shell and layer it with artichokes or celery root or anything you want, asparagus, and put a little pastry lid on it and bake it in the oven. Makes an excellent tart for a hors d'oeuvre party. When you get real fancy, you can stuff it into squash blossoms or roll it in bok choy or romaine lettuce and poach it off and serve it with all sorts of things.
For the port wine sauce, the chef will use beef stock.
I'm going to start with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, about 2 ounces. Reduce that down very quickly. Add in about 4 ounces of some good port. And that was quite a rush there. You don't want to burn the port or the vinegar, but you want to burn off most of the alcohol. Again, with anything else, you start with good ingredients, you'll have a better tasting product. The port we used was a good quality port, and that makes a difference. There's no big secret to making sauces. It's starting with good ingredients, starting from A, working your way to Z. It's called mise en place. You have to have everything in place. When you do, it's quick and easy, and that's what we do in the restaurant, is take things just to the moment where we can finish them. So this is how it would be in the restaurant just before service. We would finish up our sauces and we have their stocks ready to go, reduced to the right consistency, so you can fly. I'm going to add in about 2 cups. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe it's 4 cups. We'll give it 1 more. And we're going to reduce that down till it tastes good. Very easy. We'll just fill the mushrooms up. This dish has been a real pleasure for us, but the more people ate it, the more they talked about it. And it's a way that I can offer my clientele a foie gras taste without charging them $25. And that's another thing. You want to take care of your guests. You're just not here to take their money. You're here to nurture them, to entertain them, to take care of them. And part of that is trying to bring the best things you can to the table in the best manner at the best price.
The mushrooms are browned in butter.
Everything in moderation. We're going to get these going on top of the stove. I'm going to put them in the oven and finish them. I don't like to flip them over until they're just coming out because I don't like to brown the mousse. I want to keep it nice and tender. It's at this point, this is the point where we'd be in the restaurant at service time. We'd have our sauce just finished. We'd have our mushrooms already stuffed. All we have to do is cook it off, saute the spinach, maybe whip the sauce with a little bit of butter. Bing, bang, boom. You're good to go.
The oven is preheated to 375 degrees.
That'll take about 5 to 6 minutes in the oven. I'll make a little liaison with cornstarch. I'm just taking a little touch of cornstarch, a little bit of water, and I'll just barely thicken this sauce just a touch because it's to the point that it's good for me.
The stuffed mushrooms are presented with wilted spinach.
Ah, voila. It's done. I like to cook them cap side down. The caps get a little bit crispy. Just flip the mousse over just to ensure that it's fully cooked all the way through. Thank you. We'll take just a little nougat of butter, work it into the sauce to enrich it, and it gives it a shine and a gloss. Voila, monsieur, voila. And just a touch of sauce, just enough to accent the dish. You don't want to drown things in your sauce. It's just a highlight, just a little tweak.